What's up, guys? Today we got two 2025 Light Bees, and we're going to be unboxing, upgrading, and giving these bikes their first rides. Let's get into it. Alright, box is off. This is our first look at the bike. Look at those new graphics, they look great. Oh yeah. What do you think, Justin?
It looks sick, dude. So much better than the 2024s.
Oh yeah. Alright, here they are, all built. These things clean as fuck. Those forks. What do you think, Justin?
So sick. So sick. So excited to ride these.
Yeah, we're about to go on a ride right now. Alright.
So first thing I noticed on this bike, I needed way more space, and I'm sure I am a tall rider, but I'm sure our people would agree. The stock just feels so cramped, and so ended up with the Luna riser bars. They're great. They have a good bend to rise it up, and then they also have 800 millimeters of length, which is why I chose them over other brands, because they just make it feel way more open. I have more control because I have a wider grip on the bars, easier to use my weight. On top of that, I also have the direct mount stem riser, which it did come with some spacers. However, I had to take them off due to the short brake line that comes on the bike. Really wish they would extend it, because this thing still feels really small for me, but I'm sure for our people it'll feel really good. And then I also have the foot peg dropping brackets, which only like 30 bucks, but really good quality. Come with a little brace as well, so you don't bend the aluminum. One problem I had is I had to stiffen up the rear shock immensely because ground clearance issues just kept bottoming out the peg dropping brackets on the ground. And then as far as pegs goes, I chose some CNC pegs that have inserts instead of the regular like screws as cleats that you see everywhere on Amazon. They're super cheap, and the holes that they make for the screws are really weak, a really weak point for the bike. I've bent multiple of those, so I ended up going with the replaceable CNC pegs. When picking the mods for this bike, I felt like stock it lacked some pretty necessary things, and I tried to pick some really budget options for functionality wise, just to get this thing feeling a lot better and more easy to ride, more comfortable riding. The mods cost me $175, and the whole bike now totaling to be just under $3,300. So So here's what I like about the 2025 Light Bee stock. Number one, the seat cover. They upgraded the material. It's a lot more grippy. It is pretty thin still, so I'm sure you'll be ripping through them pretty easy, but way more grippy. The design's cool. The other thing I like, 1918 rim setup, way better than the 1919s, just because it's a lot more playful. Also increased the width of the tire stock, which is great because you really need all the traction you can get. And then finally, as far as appearance, the gold shocks, gold chain, and black anodized struts for the forks look great, really bling. Stickers also look really cool. So here's my thoughts on the brakes. From 2024 to 2025, they did make a huge difference. I will say the brakes work great, but still not right for these types of bikes. So basically, here's what they changed. All they did was they adapted the original braking system to DOT fluid. So they basically redesigned the master cylinder, the caliper, and the brake line hoses to all be DOT fluid instead of mineral oil, which is great for longevity and performance. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's not really it doesn't make a difference in braking power. It's just how long the brakes will be able to handle your abuse and hard braking, and that's great, you know, and it's a really big improvement. However, the big problem with the brakes is the size of the pistons in the calipers. They've been using the same size calipers for every year, and I'll say they do not stop the best. And not only that, but because they're the same size pistons, you have to use the same size brake pads. They're very small, and for a bike like this, you wear those brakes down so fast, it's unbelievable. So I will say the brakes are a lot better, and they're definitely good. They're all right, but they just don't stop like an Ultra B would, or like, you know, once you get some upgraded brakes, they don't stop like that. So definitely something to consider, because I know that they said that they upgraded them when really in reality they're semi-upgraded. Not actual braking power, but longevity and abuse resistance. All right, here we are at the jump trail. I'm gonna try to give you guys a little bit of a riding review so you kind of get a feel for how the bike rides, as well as I'm gonna talk about how I actually bought this bike and how much and where I got it from, and won't go too much into depth because I'll be releasing some documentation of how I bought the bike and every step I took and my personal process. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a step in the right direction, you could say, to understanding, you know, how you could get your hands on one of these bikes. So first of all, I bought the bike from Alibaba. I bought two of these exact same bikes for $3,000 a piece. And the distributor I chose to go with through Alibaba is Gonped. And this is just because they have really competitive pricing, while at the same time they have really good reviews. So I talked to many different places with different reviews and got different quotes. Some were a lot cheaper, but then again they had like no reviews. So for something like this, you know, it's also my first time buying these bikes, and I did buy a lot of them. I bought two of these and then some Ultra Bees. But yeah, so Gonped is who I went through. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the suspension a little bit. They made a huge upgrade between 2024 and 2025 suspension. And I don't know exactly the terminology for what they did in the suspension itself, but I do know how it felt, how it feels, and how it differs from the feeling of the 2024. And that's just the amount of like plushness they added. And it's not only that, but they also changed the compression, so you're less likely to bottom out at very low when your front forks get very low. So very good upgrades. It feels a lot more similar to the Ultra Bee, which is what I had a feeling it would be. And the Ultra Bee has by far been my favorite bike, and that's why I ended up with buying these and the Ultras. But yeah, so I'm really impressed with the suspension upgrade they did. Plus, the gold shocks just look so sick. I mean, they made the bike look so much better, especially if you get the green version. Unfortunately, I got the black. I could have waited for the green, but honestly, I didn't care that much, and black is pretty good too. But the green one looks so good. And green is my favorite color, and especially with the gold, just contrasts so well. So yeah, that's my review for the bike. This thing, in my opinion, is the best bang for your buck you can get on the market right now, especially if you know where to buy it from. Surron did a really good job, because I know that they're trying to keep these things as cost friendly for them to produce as well as for consumers to buy. And definitely an entry-level e-bike, but compared to other years of the entry-level e-bikes, this thing for sure takes the cake. I mean, 8 kilowatts, it's a big difference. The suspension's great, and this is perfect for newer riders that need something a little lighter with less momentum. I will say the brakes aren't the best, and that also would be kind of hard for newer riders, is to deal with the brakes. But for the price point, I think this thing's unbeatable. Let me know if you guys have any questions below. I'll be uploading a video soon on the Ultra Bees as well, which is going to be awesome. We got 4 Ultra Bees 2025s coming in very soon, which I'll be talking about how I bought those as well and for what price and what manufacturer. But yeah, that's it for this time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know if you have any questions. Catch you guys later.